would like to bring a tarot reading to this channel tonight. If anyone is watching this video and you want to just skip ahead to the reading, I'll leave the timestamps down below, okay? But for now, I'd like to talk a little bit about my relationship to tarot. And I had some videos here in this place I created for myself. Some of them were tarot readings, and I made most of them private videos. I archived them because of my views on tarot, and I was feeling paranoid for quite some time in the past months of my life, and I was not in touch with tarot, pretty much because I felt like they would make me, the tarot contents would make me somehow a little bit more paranoid, so they were not helpful for me at the time. And even now I haven't been consuming this type of content. So a little bit of my relationship with tarot is, I do think that things might come true when we're talking about future oriented readings. Okay, so I do believe they might come true. A lot of times they do, but I also think when we listen to a reading and we take that as our future, we're claiming that for ourselves, even in an unconscious level. So I think this is part of why they do come true. So this is one thing. I think tarot is really valuable for us in terms of self-knowledge. We have all identified with all of these archetypes, because that's what they are. They are archetypes, they are symbols. This is my point of view, okay? So, for example, when we're talking about the major arcanas, i.e. the 22 cards that don't have a suit attached to them, so they're not a Wands card, they're not Pentacles, Cups, or Swords, like the Lovers, for example. When we're talking about the major arcana, we're talking about the journey of the Fool, the first card of the tarot. It's card number 0. So it's a journey. We have all been at some point of that journey at different points of our lives. Another thing with the spiritual contents that people make, I do think they are very helpful for a lot of people, and I do think they bring comfort. But there's a lot of things regarding manipulation of energies, manipulation of other people's minds, manipulations of destinies that have to do with other people's free will. And I don't know, that's not nice. And I don't know, I personally see a lot of that in this type of content online. So those were things that made me a little bit, made me distance myself a little bit from that. But today, also, there's something about wanting to know about, like I said, the future. there is something of controlling, maybe manipulative with that, I think. Maybe not for everybody, okay? But sometimes it's just nice letting things happen, seeing what comes. I think it can be anxiety inducing, maybe not to everybody, but it can be anxiety inducing to want to have that type of information. Does it make sense? Now, what are we going to talk about today? The Four of Wands. This was the card that was below the Lovers when I pulled it. The Four of Wands. Celebrations, friendships, joy. Maybe feeling a little bit aside a group of friends, because we have the two main figures here, and we have another couple, another two people that are not quite belonging in the celebration. This caught my attention. Um, what is being told for us by the Four of Wands? The King of Cups, the Empress, the Temperance. There's something here about someone. I believe here is one person. Could be you, could be someone else. But there is one figure here, because here we were talking about a group of friends. But here, I believe like all of these figures are by themselves. I think here is one person who has all these qualities you are looking at right now. Could be yourself or could be someone else. Someone who seems to you very emotionally stable, very not self-centered, but very sure of themselves, not in an arrogant way, but in a confident way. Like, I know what I can bring to the table. I'm not going to portray myself as more, but I'm not going to portray myself as less than what I am. So there's this figure here. They are confident. They are nurturing. Maybe sometimes you feel like you could get more from them because they're not the Queen of Cups, who's usually seen as more nurturing, but still, they are very nurturing. They are, again, with the Empress here. They are someone who you see as powerful, but not powerful to the point where it creates distance. They are not someone you, for example, would feel afraid to reach out to. They're someone approachable. And again, they are someone very caring, very nurturing. There could be almost a motherly type of not connection, but almost a motherly type of view you have from them. And they are someone that you would describe as someone chill, someone peaceful, someone who is not something to be described almost, in the sense of they are not cold, they are not indifferent, like I said, but they could be closer, like I said. And they are a mix of things for you. They don't have that, you wouldn't call them a mother figure, but still they are someone nurturing who cares for you. You know that. They are someone who has that spiritual, who, you might say that this person might have induced a spiritual transformation of a kind within yourself. And the Four of Wands. Maybe this is someone who you've maybe this is someone who you've met in a group or in a celebration, or maybe this person is someone you met at a party, an environment that you wouldn't imagine like you would meet such a person. You wouldn't go to a group of friends planning to meet an empress or the king, or you wouldn't go to the party imagine to find such a connection. But this might be someone from that group. And as I pointed, there is the feeling of someone feeling left aside in the Four of Wands card. How does this person, like I said, it could be yourself. All this, this one person I said that's being represented by this could be all yourself or not. How does this person relate to the Four of Wands? How does this person from this group relate to the Four of Wands? By group, I mean group of friends, because I do think there's something very social here. How does this person? Seven of Pentacles, Justice. This is not a light presence in your life. Okay, we have many major arcanas. We have the King of Cups here. So this is not one of many. They are one of a kind to you in your heart. What is the Seven of Pentacles doing here? The Queen of Cups. There's a lot of feelings here. So there's something about patience here. About taking a long time to harvest something. Seven of Pentacles. This is someone who is very intentional. They take a lot of care. And they are very patient with that group of friends. They are fair. I'll go to the Justice card later. you might feel like this person is more vulnerable with they're more intentional and vulnerable. Have to take my medication. Okay, I take it later. I just reminded of it now. Sorry. They might be someone that you perceive it. It might not be the truth, but you perceive that they are more intentional with measuring their actions and being slow and steady, but still slow. They take more action to that rather than taking attention to, than paying attention to being someone who just comes and show up and is right away emotionally vulnerable. And this is not someone who will come to your door and read poems to you, make you a serenade. It could not be romantic because this is more about friendship. I didn't get anything romantic here, but they're not as as emotionally expressive with you, rather than you perceive that they are in their minds, stepping on eggshells maybe, and taking care of what they do, what they say. I'm going to pull the oracle card, the oracle cards, and you perceive them acting that way in this group, to this group. Maybe they're afraid of I don't perceive them being afraid, but for some reason they are like this and this came here. I don't know why. Now, why is the Justice card here? You perceive that this is an honest person, a fair person. In the group of friends, you wouldn't say that this is someone who you feel like is very secretive or mysterious. Even they don't open up so easily, maybe. Why is the Justice card here? The card, again, a major arcana. Being fair and being transparent is something that drives this person, is something that keeps them in movement. Maybe there has been some type of conflict and this person they wouldn't be the type of person who would defend the wrong in order to keep a friendship, for example. I'm saying this because we're talking about a group of friends and this came in the context of a group of friends. So this is someone who feels driven by fairness. I still don't know if that's you we're talking about or not. And I'll ask further, why is this subject coming up? Because this is feeling random. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to pull two cards, two archetypes cards in order to realize whether we're talking about you or someone else. Okay? So, two cards. One card will be you, and the other card will be the person. If they're like if they are similar in meaning, we're talking about you. I'm not going to keep this card because I hadn't asked yet. So one card for the person watching. Yesterday I was listening to playlists. And I got reminded of a song, Get Him Back by Olivia Rodrigo. It's the Crazy X type of playlist. But I don't know if it has something to do here. One card for the person who is pulling me. And a card for the person we're talking about. Let's do it. The person, you're the mirror. They're Alethea. I have no idea what this one is. But this one is the card we got for your person is a card of spiritual learnings, a spiritual journey. It's in the spiritual section of the oracle. Though the mirror, no, the mirror is not. You're shining. I think you could be someone either or both in this connection, but in general, you're someone who tends to see things through and see people through. You tend to transform things like the sand is transformed into mirror. There's something about an alchemy here, I think, related to how you portray yourself and related to how you see yourself in this world, how you identify yourself. Witnessing the deeper self, pure awareness. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point you might have heard from this person that you could have made them uncomfortable, or you couldn't have heard from them, but I wouldn't be surprised if you had heard from them that you might have made them a little bit uncomfortable at some point for saying something or making them see something themselves that's not quite comfortable for them to see. I don't think you could have done it in a rude way. Of course you could, but not necessarily in a rude way. Just, you just could have done it. Maybe not even realizing it. There is something with their self perception. I can't say what exactly is, but there is. It's written here. Mirrors can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true, but they might not be. And they might have perceived things about themselves in this connection. Now, Aletheia. Truth. This is about yourself. This is not about someone else. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Aletheia. It has an it, ha, it has an oh my god, it has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Aletheia by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Aletheia card requires us to step toward the act of truth. Truth has its own wings, set it free. This reading is all about you. I think this friendship we're talking about, this is not you. This is something you pour your heart onto. You are very patient. You, these friends were somehow not easy to get. You might still see yourself fearing being left aside because this was something that required time and effort, active effort from you to grow. You relate to that effort with care. You might still guide yourself a little bit while you're still very emotional. You guide yourself because you're afraid of rejection, of abandonment, of betrayal. Of not being able to harvest what you put your heart into. There is something that guides you. That thing is principles. You have a very set list of principles, and they are the things that guide you. Truth guides you. Whether that truth is being able to see someone's full self or your own full self. This is what moves you. Why are we reading about this? And why are you feeling rejected? The Knight of Pentacles, the Lovers. I think you're in a transformative period in your life. I do believe we're always evolving and transforming. But this period you're living might be feeling like things are changing more intensely or faster for some reason. This reading is coming here because you rode for a long time and you could have felt really tired. It's not the lovers that came, it's the judgment. Sorry. You would say that you persisted onto a journey that you didn't know whether would bring you anything at the end. You were riding without really knowing where you were headed, but still you were riding. With this group of friends, you had the feeling of fate, of being blessed, of arriving at the end of your journey. Not the end of the journey of your life, but arriving at the end of a journey in your life. So this is why it has its weight. This is why you try so hard to keep these things with ethic. But why are you feeling threatened? The magician, the lovers. This is being very, like I said, again, this is being very important for you. We have a lot of major arcanas here. We have 22 total in the tarot. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. You're feeling threatened because a deal was made and you felt unable. First of all, you felt unable to control an outcome. And now you feel like fates have aligned in a way that you may not belong anymore, or that you belong as a witness. We have you as this figure here. We have you here as a witness. You're not part of the story, you feel. I don't know what to tell you. What does your higher self wants you to know from this? Because the table is here. What does God, the universe, your higher self, the divine wants you to know? The Four of Swords, the Hierophant, another major arcana. Okay, this is a time of stillness. Something is unfolding from this. And the best course of action for you is not to do anything right now. Focus on yourself, focus on your spirituality, on your connection to love that stands below all of us, and that's within all of us. Here with the Four of Swords, the person is laying still. There are people in the background. They are not in the background. And this might be how you're feeling. Like you're sleeping while other, those figures here, they are knights. The knights are in their battles. They're talking here. They're each doing their things. You're not. But you might as well enjoy this time to focus on doing good for yourself, first and foremost, also to other people, because when you do well to yourself, you are doing well to the other people. So I think what's been told you from this is for you to stand by your principles. They are what's going to drive you to your goals in life. I know this hurts you because you could have put a lot of time in this situation, or you could perceive that you are not loved, or that things are not paying off the way you expected. I know this might not help, but sometimes the way we expected things would unfold as are not the best ways. Our way isn't always the best way, but a way that is respectful and that's aligned to what we believe, aligned with our purposes, aligned with love. This is the right way. And about you feeling left aside, maybe this doesn't belong to you. Maybe this was the other people's paths. And maybe this is not something that was directed at you. And I know that it still hurts. And I'm very sorry about it. But this doesn't say anything about you. You might want to pay attention to this. It doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't say you're awful. It doesn't say you're bad. And people celebrating with you doesn't say anything about you either. It doesn't say you're perfect. It doesn't say you're more loved, because you already are. Okay. So I think this is the reading. I think I'll post it. And yeah, this was the reading. Bye.